Before we dive in, I want to give a huge thank you to everyone who's been supporting our channel. Your likes, comments, and subscriptions mean everything to me and help us bring you these incredible real-life survival stories every week. And for those of you who are new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because trust me, you don't want to miss any of these amazing stories. Grab your headphones and get ready for a powerful survival story that proves heroes are made in moments when ordinary people refuse to give up on saving lives. Today, we're heading to the Colorado Rockies for a story that will show you just how much one person can accomplish when lives hang in the balance. This story will demonstrate how professional training and unbreakable determination can overcome impossible odds, how split-second decisions can mean the difference between life and death for multiple people, and how sometimes being the only one left standing means you become everyone's last hope for survival. You'll witness how 37 minutes of frantic rescue work can test every skill a professional has ever learned, and how the determination to save others can give someone superhuman strength when time is running out. This is the story of 35-year-old Maria Santos, a veteran ski patrol member who became the sole rescuer when a massive avalanche buried 12 people in the backcountry near Vail, Colorado, and how her training and heroic actions turned what could have been a devastating tragedy into one of the most remarkable rescue stories in alpine history. By the end of this story, you'll understand why professional knowledge, quick thinking, and never giving up on people can accomplish miracles when every second counts and multiple lives are at stake. So, grab your favorite drink, get comfortable, and let's dive into this absolutely incredible tale of heroism that proves sometimes one person really can save the world, or at least save 12 people who are counting on you to not let them die.
Saturday morning, February 11th, 2023, dawned cold and clear in the Colorado Rockies near Vail, with the kind of perfect powder conditions that made Maria Santos love her job as a ski patrol member at Vail Mountain Resort. The 35-year-old veteran patroller had been working in Avalanche country for 12 years, and she could read snow conditions like most people read books, understanding the subtle signs that indicated safety or danger in the alpine environment. Maria wasn't just any ski patrol member. She was a certified avalanche rescue specialist with advanced training in victim location, emergency medical treatment, and coordinating multi-victim rescue operations. Her backpack contained professional avalanche rescue equipment, including a digital beacon, collapsible probe, tactical shovel, and emergency medical supplies that could keep multiple victims alive during extended rescue operations. That Saturday morning, Maria was leading a guided backcountry ski tour for 12 experienced skiers who had paid for access to some of Vail's most spectacular and challenging terrain. The group included a mix of advanced skiers from around the country, 2 doctors from Chicago, a family of 4 from Texas, 3 college friends from California, and 3 solo skiers who had joined the group for the adventure. Today, we're going to ski some of the most beautiful terrain in Colorado, Maria announced during the morning safety briefing. But we're also going into avalanche country, which means everyone needs to follow safety protocols exactly as I explain them. Maria's safety briefing was comprehensive and professional, covering avalanche beacon usage, group travel techniques, emergency procedures, and the importance of staying together and following her lead at all times. Every member of the group was equipped with avalanche safety gear and had signed waivers acknowledging the serious risks of backcountry skiing. The planned route for their day was ambitious, but within the group's skill level. They would skin up to a high alpine bowl, then ski several runs of untouched powder snow before returning to the resort boundaries. Maria had selected the area based on recent avalanche reports and her own assessment of snow conditions, which appeared stable and safe for their planned activities. The avalanche danger rating today is considerable on slopes above 9,000 feet, Maria explained as they prepared to depart. That means we'll be avoiding the steepest terrain and staying on slopes that I've assessed as safe. As long as we follow proper protocols, we're going to have an incredible day. For the first 3 hours of their tour, everything went perfectly according to plan. The group made good progress skinning up the mountain, the weather remained stable, and the snow conditions were even better than Maria had hoped. The skiers were enthusiastic and cooperative, following her safety instructions and clearly enjoying the spectacular alpine scenery. At 11:30 a.m., Maria led the group to their first ski run. A beautiful open slope with consistent pitch and perfect powder snow. She had skied this particular run dozens of times over the years and knew it well enough to assess it as safe under current conditions. "This is going to be amazing," said Dr. Jennifer Walsh, one of the Chicago doctors, as she looked down the pristine slope. "I've never seen snow conditions this perfect." Maria conducted her final safety assessment of the slope, checking for signs of instability and confirming that all group members were ready for their descent. Everything appeared perfect. The snow felt stable under her skis, there were no signs of recent avalanche activity, and weather conditions remained favorable. "Remember, we ski one at a time with plenty of spacing. I'll go first to confirm the route, then signal each of you to follow. Watch for my signals and stop at the designated regrouping point." At 11:45 a.m., Maria began her descent, skiing the first 200 vertical feet of the run to test snow conditions and establish a safe route for the group. The skiing was incredible. Deep powder snow that felt stable and predictable under her skis. But at 11:47 a.m., as Maria reached the designated regrouping point and turned to signal the first skier to follow, she heard a sound that made her blood run cold. The distinctive whoomph of snow settling that indicated massive instability in the snowpack above them. Maria immediately looked up toward the group and saw something that every avalanche professional dreads. A fracture line opening across the entire width of the slope above her, followed by the terrifying sight of thousands of tons of snow beginning to accelerate downhill toward the 12 people who were still gathered at the top of the run. "Avalanche!" Maria screamed, her voice carrying across the mountain as she watched the slide begin. "Everyone deploy your beacons!" For the next 30 seconds, Maria watched in horror as the avalanche swept down the slope, completely burying the entire group of 12 skiers under tons of snow that moved with the force and speed of a freight train. When the slide finally stopped, the slope that had been covered with 12 people just minutes before was now an empty field of avalanche debris with no sign of any survivors. Maria Santos, the only member of their group who hadn't been caught in the slide, was now the sole hope for 12 people who were buried alive under snow that could suffocate them in minutes if she didn't find them fast enough.
At 11:48 a.m. on February 11, 2023, Maria Santos faced the most challenging moment of her 12-year career in avalanche rescue. 12 people buried simultaneously under tons of snow, with only her training and equipment standing between them and death by suffocation. The avalanche debris field stretched over 200 yards and was up to 8 feet deep in places, containing somewhere within it a dozen people who had perhaps 15 minutes to live. Maria's training immediately kicked in as she switched her avalanche beacon from transmit to search mode and began the systematic search pattern that could locate buried victims. But with 12 people buried across a massive debris field, she was facing a rescue scenario that would normally require a team of 20 or more trained rescuers. "Focus, Maria," she said aloud to herself, using her voice to stay calm and organized. "Systematic search. Closest victim first. Work fast. Don't panic." Maria's first beacon signal was strong, indicating a buried victim approximately 30 yards away. She immediately began moving toward the signal, while simultaneously activating her radio to call for backup rescue teams from Vail Mountain Resort. "Vail Dispatch, this is Maria Santos. I have a massive avalanche with 12 people buried in the backcountry near Resolution Bowl. I need immediate backup, helicopters, and medical teams. I'm beginning rescue operations now." The response from dispatch was immediate. "Maria, we're launching full rescue operations. Multiple teams are en route, but you're our only rescuer on scene. Do what you can until backup arrives." Maria reached her first victim location at 11:50 a.m., 2 minutes after the avalanche stopped. Using her probe to pinpoint the exact burial location, she began digging frantically with her tactical shovel. Snow rescue protocol calls for strategic digging to minimize effort while maximizing speed, and Maria's training guided her to dig efficiently despite the adrenaline and urgency of the situation. At 11:52 a.m., Maria's shovel struck something solid, a ski boot. She immediately began clearing snow away from what she hoped was a breathing person, and within seconds she had exposed the face of Tom Martinez, one of the solo skiers from California. "Tom, can you hear me?" Maria shouted as she cleared snow away from his face and airway. Tom coughed and gasped, clearly conscious but disoriented. "Maria, I can't move. My legs are trapped." "You're going to be okay, Tom. I'm going to clear more snow, and then I need to find the others," Maria said as she quickly assessed his condition. Tom was conscious and breathing, but his lower body was still trapped under heavy snow. Maria faced her first terrible decision: continue digging to fully extract Tom, or leave him partially buried while she searched for other victims who might be in worse condition. With 11 more people buried and time running out, she made the choice that her training dictated. "Tom, I'm going to leave you with your airway clear while I find the others," Maria said, as she began searching for her second victim. Maria moved her beacon in the systematic pattern that would locate buried signals most efficiently. Her second signal was weaker but detectable, indicating someone buried deeper or further away. The second victim was Dr. Jennifer Walsh, buried under 4 feet of snow approximately 50 yards from Tom's location. Maria's digging was faster this time, driven by the knowledge that each minute of burial reduced the victim's chances of survival. At 11:57 a.m., Maria exposed Dr. Walsh's face and found her unconscious but breathing. Unlike Tom, Dr. Walsh appeared to be suffering from the effects of snow burial and possible trauma from the avalanche impact. "Jennifer, wake up! You're safe now," Maria shouted while checking Dr. Walsh's pulse and airway. The doctor was alive but unresponsive, requiring immediate medical attention that Maria couldn't provide while 11 other people remained buried. Maria's third victim search led her to a cluster of signals that indicated multiple people buried in close proximity, possibly the family of 4 from Texas who had been skiing together when the avalanche hit. This discovery was both encouraging and terrifying. Finding multiple people in one location could speed up her rescue efforts, but it also meant that several victims might be buried under each other, making extraction more complex. At 12:02 p.m., 14 minutes after the avalanche, Maria began digging toward the strongest signal in the cluster. Her physical condition was already being tested by the frantic pace of digging and the altitude, but she pushed through fatigue and maintained her systematic approach to victim location and extraction. Maria's fourth victim was Sarah Thompson, the mother of the Texas family, buried under 5 feet of snow. When Maria exposed her face, Sarah was conscious and coherent, though clearly traumatized by the experience. "My family, where are my kids?" Sarah gasped as Maria cleared snow around her head. "I'm going to find them, Sarah. I think they're buried close to you," Maria replied, while continuing to dig. "I need you to stay calm and breathe normally." At 12:05 p.m., 17 minutes after the avalanche, Maria made a discovery that filled her with hope. She could hear voices coming from the snow near Sarah's location. The Texas family had been buried in positions that created an air pocket, and the children were conscious and able to communicate. "Mom, is someone there?" came a muffled voice from the snow. "This is Maria from Ski Patrol. I'm going to get you out," Maria shouted toward the voice as she began digging toward the sound. Within minutes, Maria had located and begun extracting 16-year-old Emma Thompson, followed by her 14-year-old brother Jake and her father David. The family of 4 had been incredibly lucky. Their burial positions had created a shared airspace that had kept them conscious and breathing. At 12:10 p.m., 22 minutes after the avalanche, Maria had successfully located and partially extracted 6 victims, but she still had 6 more people buried somewhere in the debris field, and her physical condition was beginning to show the effects of 22 minutes of frantic digging at high altitude. "Maria, this is Vail Rescue. We have teams 15 minutes out from your location. How many victims have you located?" "I found 6 people, all alive. I still have 6 more to find. I need those teams here now." As Maria began searching for victim number 7, she was operating on pure determination and training. Her muscles were screaming from the physical effort. Her lungs were burning from the altitude and exertion. But she knew that 6 more people were depending on her to find them before time ran out.
At 12:12 p.m., 24 minutes after the avalanche, Maria Santos was facing the biological reality that separates successful avalanche rescues from tragedies. Buried victims have approximately 15 minutes before survival rates drop dramatically, and she still had 6 people to find. Her training told her that she was now working in the critical time window where every minute delay could mean the difference between life and death. Maria's 7th victim signal was the strongest she had detected yet, indicating someone buried relatively close to the surface. Her beacon led her to a location about 75 yards from the Thompson family cluster, where she began digging with the desperate efficiency that comes from knowing someone's life depends on your speed. At 12:14 p.m., Maria's shovel struck the bright red jacket of Dr. Michael Chen, the 2nd doctor from Chicago. When she exposed his face, Dr. Chen was unconscious and blue around the lips, clear signs of oxygen deprivation that indicated he was approaching the limits of survivable burial time. "Michael, wake up!" Maria shouted while checking his pulse and clearing his airway. Dr. Chen was alive, but showed signs of severe hypoxia. His body was shutting down from lack of oxygen. Maria immediately began rescue breathing, using her wilderness first aid training to provide artificial respiration while simultaneously trying to clear more snow from around Dr. Chen's chest to improve his breathing capacity. It was a complex medical procedure to perform while kneeling in snow, but Maria's training and adrenaline made it possible. After 2 minutes of rescue breathing, Dr. Chen regained consciousness and began breathing independently. "Michael, how long was I under?" he gasped. "About 25 minutes. You're going to be okay, but I need to find the others," Maria replied as she quickly assessed his condition. At 12:17 p.m.,
Maria began searching for victim number 8, knowing that she was now working well beyond the optimal rescue window. Her beacon led her to another signal approximately 60 yards away, but this one was much weaker, indicating either a deeper burial or a victim whose beacon battery was failing. The 8th victim was Rebecca Johnson, one of the California college friends buried under 6 feet of snow, the deepest burial Maria had encountered yet. The depth of burial meant that Rebecca had been without adequate oxygen for the entire duration of her entrapment, making her survival questionable. When Maria finally exposed Rebecca's face at 12:21 p.m., 29 minutes after the avalanche, she found a victim who appeared to be in cardiac arrest. Rebecca was unconscious, not breathing, and showed no pulse that Maria could detect. "Rebecca, come on, stay with me," Maria said as she immediately began CPR, combining chest compressions with rescue breathing in the snowy environment of the avalanche debris field. Maria's CPR efforts were complicated by the unstable footing and the physical exhaustion from 30 minutes of continuous rescue work, but she maintained proper technique while mentally preparing for the possibility that Rebecca might not survive. After 5 minutes of CPR, Rebecca suddenly gasped and began breathing irregularly. She remained unconscious, but showed signs of life that gave Maria hope that her efforts were succeeding. "Vail Rescue, this is Maria. I have 8 victims located, all alive, but some in critical condition. I need immediate medical evacuation, and I still have 4 more victims to find." "Maria, we have helicopters landing at the base of the debris field in 5 minutes. Medical teams are hiking up to your location. Keep going." At 12:27 p.m., 35 minutes after the avalanche, Maria began searching for victim number 9. Her physical condition was approaching the limits of human endurance. Her muscles were cramping from the cold and exertion, her breathing was labored from the altitude and continuous work, and her hands were numb from handling snow and rescue equipment. But Maria's training and determination drove her forward. She knew that 4 more people were buried somewhere in the debris field, and that their survival depended entirely on her ability to continue working despite her physical limitations. Maria's 9th victim signal led her to the edge of the debris field, where the avalanche had deposited debris against a cluster of trees. The signal was strong, indicating a victim buried relatively close to the surface. At 12:30 p.m., Maria exposed the face of Kevin Rodriguez, another member of the California college group. Kevin was conscious but disoriented, showing signs of hypothermia and oxygen deprivation. "Kevin, you're safe now. I'm going to get you out of here," Maria said as she quickly assessed his condition and began clearing snow from around his upper body. "Maria, I can't feel my legs. I think I'm hurt," Kevin replied, his speech slurred from cold and hypoxia. Maria's examination revealed that Kevin had suffered what appeared to be a leg injury during the avalanche, but he was conscious and breathing well enough to survive while she continued searching for the remaining victims. At 12:33 p.m., 36 minutes after the avalanche, Maria began searching for victim number 10. Her beacon was detecting signals from multiple directions, indicating that the final victims were scattered across different areas of the debris field. The 10th victim was Lisa Chang, the 3rd member of the California college group, buried under 4 feet of snow near the center of the debris field. When Maria exposed her face, Lisa was conscious and coherent, though clearly traumatized by the experience. "Maria, thank God you found me. I heard you digging and I tried to stay calm," Lisa said, as Maria cleared snow from around her head and shoulders. "You did great, Lisa. I have 2 more people to find, and then we're all going to get out of here," Maria replied while quickly assessing her condition. At 12:36 p.m., 39 minutes after the avalanche, Maria began searching for victim number 11, knowing that she was now working in a time window where survival was becoming increasingly unlikely.
Her beacon led her to a location near the bottom of the debris field, where the avalanche had deposited the heaviest concentration of snow and debris. The 11th victim was Robert Kim, one of the solo skiers, buried under 7 feet of snow, the deepest burial Maria had encountered yet. The depth and duration of burial made Robert's survival extremely unlikely, but Maria's training and determination wouldn't allow her to give up. When Maria finally reached Robert at 12:40 p.m., 43 minutes after the avalanche, she found him unconscious and apparently not breathing. But Maria immediately began CPR, refusing to accept that she might have arrived too late. After 3 minutes of CPR, Robert suddenly coughed and began breathing weakly. He remained unconscious, but showed vital signs that indicated he might survive with immediate medical attention. At 12:43 p.m., 46 minutes after the avalanche, Maria began searching for her final victim, the 12th person who was buried somewhere in the massive debris field. Her physical condition was at the breaking point, but she knew that one more person was depending on her to not give up.
At 12:44 p.m., 47 minutes after the avalanche, Maria Santos was searching for her 12th and final victim while operating at the absolute limits of human endurance. Her body was shaking from exhaustion, cold, and the adrenaline crash that comes from prolonged extreme stress. But her training and determination drove her forward to complete the rescue mission that had become her life's defining moment. Maria's beacon was detecting a weak signal from the far edge of the debris field, indicating the final victim was buried in an area where the avalanche had spread debris thin, but possibly deep. The signal's weakness suggested either a deep burial or a beacon that was failing after 47 minutes of continuous transmission. "Come on, Maria, one more person," she said aloud to herself, using her voice to maintain focus and motivation. "Someone is counting on you to not give up." As Maria moved toward the final signal, she could hear the sound of helicopter rotors approaching and voices of the backup rescue teams that were finally arriving at the scene. But she knew that the final victim couldn't wait for additional help. After 47 minutes of burial, every second was critical. The final victim's signal led Maria to a location at the very edge of the debris field, where the avalanche had deposited snow against a large boulder. The beacon signal was intermittent, making it difficult to pinpoint the exact burial location. At 12:47 p.m., 50 minutes after the avalanche, Maria began her final rescue dig. Her muscles were cramping and her breathing was labored, but she maintained the systematic digging technique that had allowed her to successfully locate 11 previous victims. After 5 minutes of digging, Maria's shovel struck something that felt different from snow, the hard plastic of a ski boot. She immediately began clearing snow more carefully, hoping to find the 12th victim alive despite the extended burial time. At 12:53 p.m., 56 minutes after the avalanche, Maria exposed the face of Amanda Foster, a solo skier from Denver who had joined the group for the day. Amanda was unconscious, blue around the lips, and showed no obvious signs of breathing or pulse. "Amanda, stay with me," Maria said, as she immediately began CPR, combining chest compressions with rescue breathing in what she knew might be her final rescue attempt. Maria's CPR efforts were complicated by her own exhaustion and the challenging environmental conditions, but she maintained proper technique while drawing on reserves of strength and determination that she didn't know she possessed. After 8 minutes of continuous CPR, Amanda suddenly gasped and began breathing irregularly. She remained unconscious but showed vital signs that indicated Maria's efforts had succeeded in reviving her. "Vail Rescue, this is Maria. I have located all 12 victims. All are alive, but several need immediate medical evacuation,"
Maria radioed as she continued monitoring Amanda's condition. At 1:02 p.m., 65 minutes after the avalanche, the backup rescue teams reached Maria's location to find her kneeling beside Amanda Foster, maintaining airway support while surrounded by 11 other avalanche victims in various stages of consciousness and injury. "Maria, what's your status?" asked Captain James Wilson, the lead rescue coordinator who had been monitoring Maria's radio communications during the entire rescue operation. 12 victims located, all alive, but several need immediate medical evacuation, Maria replied, her voice hoarse from shouting and her body shaking from exhaustion. "I've been doing CPR and rescue breathing for multiple victims. We need immediate medical evacuation for at least 4 people. Captain Wilson later described the scene as the most remarkable single rescuer operation he had witnessed in 20 years of avalanche rescue work. He told reporters Maria had created a field hospital in the snow. She had 12 people arranged in a way that she could monitor their vital signs and provide medical care to the most critical victims while maintaining communication with our rescue teams. The medical evacuation of 12 avalanche victims required multiple helicopter flights and coordination between several medical teams. Maria remained on scene throughout the evacuation process, providing medical information and assistance to the incoming medical personnel. Dr. Patricia Kim, the emergency physician who treated the avalanche victims at Vail Valley Medical Center, was amazed by the successful rescue of all 12 victims. Maria's actions probably saved multiple lives, Dr. Kim told reporters. Several of these victims were in cardiac arrest when she found them, and her immediate CPR and rescue breathing brought them back to life. The most remarkable aspect of Maria's rescue was the systematic approach she had used to locate and treat 12 victims across a massive debris field. Maria essentially performed 12 simultaneous rescues. She maintained organization and medical priorities while working at a pace that would challenge a professional rescuer. Recovery for the 12 avalanche victims took weeks, with several requiring intensive medical treatment for hypothermia, oxygen deprivation, and trauma injuries. But all 12 people survived their burial, largely due to Maria's refusal to give up and her systematic approach to multiple victim rescue. "Maria saved my life and the lives of my entire family," said David Thompson, whose wife and 2 children had been buried in the avalanche. "She worked for an hour to find everyone, and she never stopped believing that we could all be saved." Amanda Foster, the final victim Maria had rescued, spent 5 days in intensive care recovering from cardiac arrest and severe hypothermia. "The doctors told me that I was clinically dead when Maria found me," Amanda said during her recovery. "She brought me back to life through CPR and refused to give up on me, even when I appeared to be beyond saving." Maria's rescue was recognized by the National Ski Patrol as one of the most successful single rescuer avalanche operations in recorded history. She was awarded the National Ski Patrol's highest honor for life-saving, and her rescue techniques became a case study for avalanche rescue training programs throughout North America. "That day changed my perspective on everything," Maria reflected during an avalanche safety seminar 6 months after the rescue. "I learned that training and determination can overcome situations that seem impossible, and that sometimes one person really can make the difference between life and death for many people."
The immediate aftermath of Maria Santos's rescue of 12 avalanche victims was a complex medical operation that required coordination between multiple helicopter crews, emergency medical teams, and hospitals throughout the Vail Valley. As Maria watched the final helicopter lift off, carrying Amanda Foster to intensive care, she realized that her 65-minute rescue operation had been successful beyond anything she had imagined possible. "Maria, you need medical attention yourself," said Dr. Sarah Rodriguez, one of the emergency physicians who had arrived with the rescue teams.
You've been working at altitude for over an hour under extreme physical stress. We need to check your condition." Maria's own medical examination revealed the toll that her rescue operation had taken on her body. She was severely dehydrated, had multiple muscle strains from the physical exertion of digging, and was showing signs of exhaustion that indicated she had pushed her body beyond its normal limits. "I'm okay," Maria insisted as medical personnel examined her. "I just need to make sure everyone else is going to be all right." But Maria's condition was more serious than she realized. The combination of altitude, extreme physical exertion, and the stress of performing life-saving medical procedures had pushed her cardiovascular system to its limits. She required IV fluids, oxygen supplementation, and several hours of medical monitoring. The news media response to Maria's rescue was immediate and overwhelming. The story of a single ski patrol member saving 12 people from an avalanche captured national attention and turned Maria into a reluctant celebrity whose heroic actions inspired people around the world. Maria Santos represents everything that's heroic about the human spirit, said Colorado Governor Janet Mills during a press conference about the rescue. She risked her own life and pushed beyond human limits to save 12 people who were counting on her to not give up. The technical analysis of Maria's rescue revealed the remarkable skill and systematization that had made her success possible. Avalanche rescue experts studied her beacon search patterns, victim prioritization decisions, and medical treatment protocols, finding that she had essentially performed a textbook multiple victim rescue operation under the most challenging conditions imaginable. Maria's rescue demonstrates that proper training, combined with extraordinary determination, can overcome situations that would normally require teams of rescuers, said Dr. Michael Chen, a specialist in avalanche rescue medicine who studied Maria's techniques. She made systematic decisions about victim prioritization and medical treatment that saved multiple lives. The psychological impact of the rescue on Maria was profound and lasting. She had experienced what psychologists call heroic stress, the mental and emotional effects of being solely responsible for multiple lives in a life-or-death situation. Recovery from this type of stress required counseling and time to process the magnitude of what she had accomplished. For weeks after the rescue, I kept thinking about all the things that could have gone wrong. I kept wondering what would have happened if I hadn't found everyone, or if I had made different decisions about victim prioritization. Maria's rescue also had a significant impact on avalanche safety education and rescue training programs. Her systematic approach to multiple victim rescue became a model for training ski patrol members and other avalanche professionals, demonstrating that individual rescuers could accomplish far more than previously thought possible. Maria's rescue changed how we think about avalanche rescue capabilities, said Captain Wilson, who incorporated Maria's techniques into the training programs he developed for rescue teams throughout Colorado. She proved that one person with the right training and determination can save many lives if they refuse to give up. The 12 people Maria saved formed a unique bond that lasted long after their physical recovery. They stayed in contact with each other and with Maria, creating a support network of people who understood the unique experience of surviving an avalanche and being saved by a single person's heroic actions. "Maria didn't just save our lives," said Dr. Jennifer Walsh, one of the doctors Maria had rescued. "She gave us a second chance to live, and that's something that creates a bond between people that can never be broken." 6 months after the rescue, Maria returned to work as a ski patrol member, but with enhanced responsibilities for training other avalanche rescue professionals. She became a sought-after instructor whose real-world experience in multiple victim rescue provided insights that couldn't be learned from textbooks or simulations. That day taught me that training is important, but determination is what makes the difference between success and failure, Maria said during a training seminar for avalanche rescue professionals. When people are depending on you to save their lives, you find strength and capabilities that you didn't know you possessed. Maria's rescue became a case study in human performance under extreme stress, demonstrating that individuals can achieve remarkable feats when motivated by the need to save others. Her story inspired countless rescue professionals and volunteers to pursue advanced training and to never give up on people who need help. Maria Santos represents the best of what humans can accomplish when they refuse to accept defeat, said Dr. Kim, who had treated the avalanche victims. She showed that one person really can make the difference between life and death for many people, and that heroism is about not giving up when others are counting on you.
1 year after Maria Santos's rescue of 12 avalanche victims, the impact of her heroic actions continued to ripple through the avalanche rescue community, the lives of the people she saved, and the broader public understanding of what individuals can accomplish when they refuse to give up on others. The 12 survivors had each returned to their normal lives, but with a profound appreciation for the fragility of life and the power of human determination. Several had become advocates for avalanche safety education, sharing their story to help prevent similar accidents and to promote the importance of proper training and equipment. Maria's rescue changed how I think about everything, said Tom Martinez, the first victim Maria had located. I realized that there are people in this world who will literally risk their lives to save strangers, and that kind of dedication inspires you to be a better person yourself. The Thompson family from Texas had become particularly close to Maria, inviting her to family gatherings and staying in regular contact. The children, Emma and Jake, had been inspired by Maria's heroism to pursue careers in emergency services and rescue work. Maria showed me that one person can make a difference in the world, said 16-year-old Emma Thompson. I want to be the kind of person who helps others when they need it most. Maria's rescue had also led to significant improvements in avalanche rescue techniques and training programs. The National Ski Patrol had developed new protocols for single rescuer operations and multiple victim scenarios based on analysis of Maria's systematic approach to victim location and medical treatment. Maria's rescue demonstrated that individual rescuers are capable of much more than we previously thought possible, said Dr. Patricia Kim, who had studied Maria's techniques and incorporated them into training programs. Her systematic approach to multiple victim rescue has become a model for rescue operations around the world. The technological improvements in avalanche rescue equipment had also been influenced by Maria's experience. Manufacturers had developed more efficient probes, shovels, and medical equipment based on feedback from Maria about what worked and what could be improved during her rescue operation. Maria's insights about equipment performance during a real rescue have led to significant improvements in the tools that rescue professionals use, said Captain Wilson, who had worked with equipment manufacturers to develop new avalanche rescue technologies. Maria herself had continued working as a ski patrol member, but with expanded responsibilities for training and education.
She had become one of the most respected avalanche rescue instructors in North America, teaching courses that combined technical skills with the mental preparation needed for high-stress rescue situations. "The most important thing I teach is that you never give up on people," Maria said during a training course for new ski patrol members. "Even when the situation seems impossible, even when you're exhausted and scared, you keep working because someone is counting on you to save their life." Maria's story had also inspired research into human performance under extreme stress, with psychologists and physiologists studying how individuals can achieve extraordinary feats when motivated by the need to save others. Her rescue had become a case study in what researchers call heroic behavior, the ability of ordinary people to perform extraordinary actions when others need help. Maria's rescue demonstrates that humans are capable of remarkable feats when they are motivated by the need to save others, said Dr. Michael Chen, a researcher who had studied Maria's performance. Her ability to maintain systematic thinking and technical skills while working at the limits of physical endurance shows the incredible potential of human determination. The broader public impact of Maria's story had been significant, inspiring countless people to pursue training in emergency medical care, rescue techniques, and disaster response. Her example had shown that ordinary people could become heroes when they developed the skills and mindset needed to help others in crisis situations. Maria's story shows that heroism isn't about being superhuman. It's about having the training, determination, and willingness to act when others need help. The annual commemoration of Maria's rescue had become an important event in the avalanche rescue community, bringing together professionals from around the world to share techniques, honor heroic actions, and recommit to the mission of saving lives in avalanche country. Maria's rescue will always be remembered as an example of what's possible when someone refuses to give up, said Captain Wilson during the first anniversary commemoration. She showed that one person really can save many lives, and that inspiration will continue to motivate rescue professionals for generations to come. As Maria looked back on the most important day of her career, she remained humble about her achievements while understanding the broader impact of her actions. "I was just doing my job," she said during anniversary interviews. "But I'm grateful that my training and determination were enough to bring 12 people home to their families." Maria Santos had proven that heroes are made in moments when ordinary people refuse to accept defeat and push beyond their limits to save others. Her rescue of 12 avalanche victims had become a testament to the power of human determination and the incredible things that become possible when someone decides that giving up is not an option.
This story, like all the stories we share on Hold On Survival Stories, demonstrates that heroism isn't about being superhuman. It's about having the training, determination, and willingness to act when others desperately need help. Maria Santos's rescue of 12 avalanche victims shows us that one person really can make the difference between life and death for many people, and that ordinary individuals can achieve extraordinary things when they refuse to give up. The heroes of this story include not just Maria herself, but the backup rescue teams who provided essential support, the medical professionals who treated the victims, and the training programs that prepared Maria for the most challenging rescue of her career. Most importantly, this story shows us that heroism is about using your skills and determination to serve others, especially when the situation seems impossible.
Maria's story teaches us that professional training and systematic thinking are valuable tools, but they become truly powerful when combined with the mental strength to keep working when others are counting on you. Her avalanche rescue techniques and medical skills were important, but it was her determination to save all 12 people that made the difference between success and tragedy. Most importantly, Maria's story shows us that even in the most desperate situations, even when multiple lives hang in the balance, and even when the odds seem impossible, there's always reason to hold on. There are always people willing to risk their own lives to save others. Always techniques and skills that can overcome seemingly impossible challenges, and always hope that determination and training can achieve miracles. But before we go, I want to ask you some important questions. Have you ever been in a situation where your training or skills helped you save someone else? Do you have the emergency medical knowledge and physical conditioning needed to help multiple people in a crisis? And here's a crucial one for anyone who enjoys mountain sports. Do you have the avalanche safety training and equipment needed to help others if you're ever in a situation like Maria faced? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Share your own stories of helping others in emergencies, training experiences that prepared you for real-world situations, or moments when you had to push beyond your limits to help someone in need. Your experience might inspire someone else to pursue the training and mindset needed to become a hero when others need help. If this story inspired you or taught you something about the power of determination and the importance of never giving up on people, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Your support helps us bring you more incredible survival stories every week and helps us honor the courage of people like Maria, who show us what's possible when ordinary people refuse to accept defeat. Thank you for listening to Hold On Survival Stories. Stay safe, get trained, and remember, you might be someone's only hope for survival, and that's a responsibility worth preparing for.